Okay, let's try this again. So I'm having a little bit of technical difficulty today. So let me start again on the inner child. I was talking about, I'm going to start all over because I think I deleted that video. So I was exposed to the inner child work back in the 80s. There was a book that was written by a man named John Bradshaw. It's called Reclaiming the Inner Child. And I attended a workshop based on his work. And there I learned a lot of really beautiful, wonderful techniques to connect with my inner child. And one of those was creating what we called a safe place for our inner child. And it's funny because as I was reflecting on this before going live today, I was thinking about, I immediately recalled what mine was. So I had created this beautiful white bedroom with ruffle bedspread. There were windows, so it was very bright and airy. There was like blue sky outside, and that was my safe place. And the reason we created a safe place for our inner child is if you're going into a situation where your inner child might be afraid, this was a place where we could say, okay, you're going to go to your safe place, and I as an adult is going to go into the situation. So what are some of the ways that we can identify whether our inner child is happy or unhappy? So some of those ways that I've experienced and still struggle with today, it is a lifelong journey. But the most important thing is to remember to bring this up to our awareness. So one of them would be to be overly responsible for other people. So this is something that I've struggled with my whole life. It would be called, I guess a clinical term would be called codependency. So oftentimes when we feel unworthy or undeserving or inferior, we overcompensate by putting all the attention on other people. So that would be one way that our inner child might be a little out of balance. It's sort of her way of getting what she needs, which is love, right? So if I give to you and I do for you, then I get your love. Another way that the inner child you could recognize the inner child as being unhappy is an imbalance in your emotions. If you tear up easily, often, that kind of thing, you can see that your inner child is upset about something. So that is another kind of signal that there's an unhappy inner child in there that maybe needs some attention. So what can we do when we feel like we want to connect with our inner child, but also what can we do when our child is unhappy? So what we think about is, what if we had a 5-year-old right there in front of us who was unhappy about something? We would comfort them, right? I love you. I hear you. I'm listening to you. Those are kind of the words that our inner child wants to hear. You're safe. You're protected. And as the adult, so in our mind, there are these parts of our mind. Shoot. Okay, I think I'm back. I paused for just a moment there. That there's a part of our mind that's the inner child. There's a part of our mind that's the adult us. The adult part of ourselves is the one that's in charge. But it's also up to the adult part of ourselves to acknowledge the inner child, to comfort her, to help her feel safe. This is what we do as the adult mind part of ourselves. So what are some of the other ways? So you can journal. So I have often done that. Now, when I took this workshop many years ago, I don't do it now, but it was very helpful, was to use the non-dominant hand when you were writing. So I would use my right hand, which is the hand that I write with all the time. So I'd use that hand to write to her, what do you need from me? What's going on with you? Whatever questions I had, or I'm here for you, I'm listening. And then I would, in my non-dominant hand, which was my left hand, I would write her response. And there's something about that physical act that really helps you connect in with this inner part of yourself. So this part of you is a really important aspect of yourself. Now, the positive parts of the inner child is this sort of creative, playful part of ourselves. So when we're in a healthy place, that part of ourselves kind of bubbles up in this kind of joyful way that when you see children out playing and how they're not concerned at all about what's going on around them. They're just playing and having a good time. That is our natural state when our inner child is healthy. So I wanted to tell you about so uh, I have a 5-week program coming up. We're going to spend one whole session on the inner child. And at the end, we're going to do an inner child meditation. In the comments here, I have put the links if you're interested in looking into that program. I'm also giving a class on Tuesday that'll sort of be a precursor to the 5-week program, where we'll be doing an opening the heart meditation. We'll be talking about what it means to open our heart. And these two things are very interconnected. The acknowledgement of our inner child and the opening of our heart and allowing our emotions to flow and to allow them to come up, because life pushes that up. It is really part of the healing process. So on Tuesday, October 30th, it's also going to be in this post. You can join me for a free live class where I am doing an opening the heart meditation and talking about opening the heart. And also take a look at the 5-week program. It's called 5 Weeks Self-Love Sabbatical. And for 5 weeks as a group, we'll be doing a series of talks along with a guided meditation or hypnosis each week for 5 weeks. It starts on November 13th. Right now it's $300 off, so it's $197. A really great deal for 5 weeks of really wonderful content to bring your life back to this place of joy and peace. So we'll be doing a lot of healing, hypnosis, and really bringing to our understanding the things in our life that we need to clear, we need to release, so that our life is more vibrant and alive. So I hope you'll take a look at those two offerings. Remember your inner child. Remember to talk to her, to comfort her, to write to her if you find that technique helpful. You can do it in your meditation. You can talk to her in your mind. So there are many ways that you can connect with your inner child, but be sure that you do. Acknowledge that she's there. Acknowledge that she needs you and you're comforting. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. It was a little bit shorter than usual. I had some technical difficulties in the beginning, but I hope that you found this valuable. Check out the two offerings that I talked about. You can also find me online. My website is patriciamuesse.com, which is PATRICIAMUESSE. So I'll see you next week. I hope you have a fabulous week. I hope to see you on Tuesday for the live training and guided meditation. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.